Welcome to the PinkpillRx podcast, hosted by Katie and Jay Fillmore, where we navigate complex and thought-provoking topics surrounding women with a focus on education. For shorter form content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at Caters88 or PinkpillRx.
That's KATORS88.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.
Trigger warning for this episode, we talk about depression, mental health themes, as well as suicidal ideation. So if that is not a good topic for you right now, you're not at a place where you can metabolize that, this episode might not be for you. Welcome back to another episode.
Welcome!
You sounded like, what's his
Maui
face on Moana?
You're right, I did. I mean, that's right. I channeled it.
We are very excited because we have something new that we're doing. We are doing an e-course.
Yes.
And it is coming out in March. It is called How the Patriarchy Harms Men.
And boy, does it.
Almost exclusively done and led
By yours truly.
and produced by Jay.
Yes, and it has been so enlightening doing all the research for the course. Like, I have learned things that I have not learned in any of our conversations. And I'm a teacher at heart. I was a teacher for 10 years, almost 10 years. And I am so pumped to be presenting this stuff that has been very enlightening for me. It's going to be dope. It is so dope.
The idea is that the system, patriarchy, that benefits men also harms them. So it's a course for anyone ready to understand how patriarchy harms men emotionally, socially, relationally, and kind of touches as well on what healing might look like and what beyond the system might look like.
You know, and the thing about patriarchy harming men is it harms men. It harmed, like, chicken or the egg, but it harms men, and then these harmed men then harm women. But men are not just perpetrators of this type of patriarchal energy, but also victims as well. It's much more complex than people think.
Yeah, and you might be asking, why this topic first? Aren't we just centering men again?
Oh, that's good. That's a good point.
Yes. But the idea is that you can't dismantle a system until you understand how it builds its foundation. And that foundation starts with men. Patriarchy doesn't begin by oppressing women. It begins by conditioning men, stripping them of emotional range, disconnecting them from vulnerability, and defining power through dominance. And so once that framework is in place, everything else, the gender roles, the double standards, the violence, the silencing, flows downstream. You can't understand how patriarchy harms everyone until you see how it first deforms the people it uses to uphold it. And that's why this topic comes first. It's not a detour from women's liberation. We're starting with men because that is where patriarchy starts.
In order to have effective conversations with the men in your circles, the men in your life, it's important to know how it has harmed them so you can be a more effective communicator when you're talking about this system.
If that's what you choose to do. Meaning that if that's the emotional labor that you want to put into it, is having those conversations. But also, this is directed specifically towards men. Like, it is a course for men. Not saying that it's not going to benefit women, because it totally will. If you're a woman that takes this course, you're going to understand better the men that you love, that you work with, the boys that you raise. You're going to be able to understand that better. And I also think it would be good for women who were raised by dads who really demonized emotions and really pushed that on you growing up. I know that when we did the How the Patriarchy Harms Men series a while ago on our podcast, that we had multiple women reaching out saying that they could relate a lot to the things Jay was saying. So it's for everybody. And we often talk in the binary here, men, women. And I want to recognize that that's not where everybody falls. Not everybody identifies with that binary. And I never want to sound like we're excluding anyone from the conversation. This course and all of our conversations, I feel like, are also beneficial to anybody who falls on the spectrum.
Yeah. I mean, in the system of patriarchy, it affects everybody, whether you fall into men, women, or somewhere in between, or somewhere far away.
So we're really excited about it, and we want to reward our dedicated listener base because we have an amazing podcast listener base.
Yes.
We want to give you guys a substantial discount. Using the code podcast, you can take $20 off the course. And if you support us on Patreon, you'll be getting an even bigger coupon than that. And that will be sent as a message on Patreon closer to the release date.
Which, again, coming up in March.
What I'm really excited about is not only is this going to be like content, like written content, but there's also going to be a lot of video content in it. And all of these videos are not videos that you have seen before. Now, there might be some videos linked to like series and stuff if you wanted to look at them, like look back on them. But the videos themselves for the course content are all brand new, not ever been heard or seen before. It's not something you're going to be able to see on TikTok or on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, it's solely prepared and engineered for this type of course and this type of educational platform.
Yeah. So you're going to hear us talking about that a lot over the next couple episodes because we're really excited about it. We really think that it's going to hopefully make a difference in the conversation.
I get excited every day to do research and organization for this course. I was doing some stuff yesterday for it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. So like things I've never seen before. I have to reflect on some things for myself as a man. And it's very, very thought-provoking.
Yeah, it's also going to include downloadable PDF like questions, not just for men, but also for women to reflect. So we're going to have that in there too. Just kind of going along with you talking about needing to reflect on certain things.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of reflection questions.
Because it's a lot to chew on,
Yes, it will be a lot of content, and it will be heavy. I think it'll be good to hear it from your own words too, Jay, because this started out in end of April, May 2024, with the conversation of man versus bear.
Mm-hmm.
And then that led to a lot of educational conversations, which led to a lot of emotional conversations just about the patriarchy and how it's impacted you and how you didn't realize how it impacted you. Eventually led to a podcast. And now you're doing an e-course.
Yeah.
You've come full circle. You're the one doing the educating.
Yeah. It's usually somewhat difficult having conversations with other men about this type of stuff because there's already some type of like wall that's built up and presuppositions that are built up. And it's nice to have that in mind as I've been putting things together, because I feel like it lays a groundwork that will make it easier for guys who have taken the course to have more of an open dialogue, because there's like, oh, here's where this came from. Here's where that came from. Oh, here's how this maybe affected you if your childhood was like X, Y, and Z. It's just very, very I feel like it really, like I said, lays a good foundation to have conversations with other men without that wall being up and those defenses being up.
And I think it's good that it's directed at men so men can actually take it and they're like being talked to versus talked at.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And I think maybe coming from another man, there's, less defensiveness there too.
So that's what's coming up. That's exciting. We're excited about it. It's going to be the beginning of March, and we will keep you guys updated. And remember to use that coupon code podcast to get $20 off.
Yes, because we really, really like you guys.
The podcast has been the funnest kind of journey out of all this, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the videos and stuff like that. That's fun too. But it is fun to connect in a longer formatted way.
In the deeper dives.
Right. In other news, and there's a lot of news in the world right now, I am just feeling super heavy about everything. Lately, it just feels like everyone's hanging on by a thread. The world is really loud and it's unpredictable. And then we're just all supposed to function normally while everything burns to the ground. And I've been thinking a lot about how that isn't an accident, because fear, burnout, chaos serves systems that rely on control. Patriarchy, capitalism, all of it. Because these systems don't only exploit us economically or politically, they shape how we see ourselves, how we love, how we cope, how we break. It shapes everything. And when people are tired and scared, they often stop asking questions. When they're anxious, they cling to like familiar things. And I think that they're just like trying to scare us to control us.
That makes sense. I mean, there's that old idea of trading freedom for security.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of a trope I've heard in, media, in political thought. Mm-hmm. That at some point you trade freedom for feeling more secure.
So today I want to talk a little bit about mental health. And this isn't going to be like a super research-backed episode. This is more going to be about our personal journeys. And I don't know, maybe it'll help somebody out there, maybe it won't. But I do feel there's power in story and vulnerability. And we've both been through mental health journeys that are no joke.
Yeah, no joke.
And I also think that the patriarchy distorts mental health for everyone. But it does that like differently for gender, You have like emotional suppression that are often taught to boys. And then there's shame and isolation that's often put on boys, and seeking help is stigmatized, right?
Yep.
And then you got women whose emotions are pathologized, right? We're hysterical, overreacting, hormonal, whatever. Mm-hmm. And women deal a lot with double labor. They're expected to manage their own stress while carrying the emotional labors of partners and children and workplaces. And that chronic stress contributes to anxiety, depression, burnout, physical illness even. Women deal with a lot of gaslighting and a lot of mom guilt that's set up on purpose by the patriarchy. So there's just a lot of like systems in the background that work against us being mentally well. And then you add on top that the political disrest, the dehumanization of people, the terrorizing of people. So I don't know. If you're willing, I would like to discuss our mental health journeys just to share with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, could be really beneficial.
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I can go first. I traditionally in my adult life have struggled with bouts of depression. I've called them funks, where, I'm not sure if it's depression or if it's burnout. I don't really know. I will go to the end of 2021. So for like a year after Katie was diagnosed with ADHD and on medication for it, she's telling me, Jay, I think you have ADHD because X, Y, and Z. And I'm thinking, Katie, no, I don't. I mean, I'm not against that. I don't have any feelings about that, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that's accurate. I don't believe you. And for like 9 months, you're periodically bringing it up. And it turns out, I scheduled a visit with a psychiatrist, and turns out I do have ADHD. I have just come up with, over the course of my life, so many coping mechanisms to where I didn't recognize like the actual symptoms in my life. But Katie could look at me and say, well, you're always making lists so you don't forget. You're always setting alarms so you don't forget stuff. You have difficulty with emotional regulation, being able to regulate yourself when something, throws me off or is very unsettling or disruptive. And then I got medicated for ADHD, and I'm like, holy cow. I could live like, I cried. Remember when we were driving in the car?
Yeah.
I had my first instant release Adderall, and it took 10 minutes to kick in, and it was like a great big hush. It's almost like when you're a kid in the cafeteria at school, and it's super, super loud, and all of a sudden everybody kind of quiets at the same time, randomly by coincidence, and you kind of look around like, whoa, what's going on? It was like that. Everything just kind of got quiet all of a sudden, and it was unbelievable because I've always overthought things. I've always had anxiety and social anxiety produced by overthinking because my mind's hyperactive. So going on medication for ADHD, which is not necessarily what I think everybody with ADHD needs to do or what is even beneficial for everybody, but I know that it was for me. And it truly changed my life in terms of how I can run the business that I run and be a parent and be a dad and be a husband. And it's really allowed me to not struggle as much in my daily life to stay on top of things. So that was like end of 2021 into 2022. But then something happened in the beginning of 2023. I like had would you call it a nervous breakdown? I don't know if I'd call it.
I mean, it was definitely the most intense emotional release of multiple issues that I have seen you have.
Yeah, it was like I've not been the same since it. From about 2018 till 2023, I mean, I just was put my head down and work and get it done. Because I transitioned from teaching into real estate, and there's so much transition over that period of time, and so much I had to learn. Like my brain had to learn so much about electrical and plumbing and flooring and windows and I mean all different types of things. The legalities of owning property and selling property or renting property, and it was a lot. There's a physical toll on my body, and it was just hustle, and it's like my body and my mind finally like gave out in the spring. And I haven't been able to be like hyper focused and hyper committed to work where I'm just working all the time, not taking enough rest, not maybe eating the way that I should, not doing enough like fun and play, like just grinding. I can't do that anymore. And I don't know if it's because I'm more in touch with my emotions now and I notice it, but I just know that like since then it's not been the same. And so I started seeing a counselor. I'd been to counseling before, several years before, and it was beneficial, but I didn't stick with it. It wasn't beneficial enough. And then I went and saw another counselor. This time it was a male counselor. Previously it was a woman counselor, and it was a really good fit. I really liked it. It was more cognitive behavioral therapy or talk therapy. I did that for about 6 months, and it was helpful. And then I was like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm ready to stop that. I just hit a point again in like the spring of 2024, like a year later, where just I'm not happy. I'm not able to enjoy my life. I have anhedonia, which is like it's a symptom of depression, where just nothing is enjoyable that used to be enjoyable, and I really wanted just to be able to enjoy my life. And Katie had just started a different form of therapy that was somatic therapy and internal family systems, or more of a bottom-up approach to therapy instead of just a talk therapy, starting more with what your body's feeling and then moving to talking later versus just cognitively talking about things and then getting down to the feelings afterward. So in starting that, you brought up a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things from my childhood, a lot of things from my present, a lot of things that now in hindsight are very patriarchal that were very harmful to me as a child and as an adolescent quite a bit. Because I was bullied a lot in middle school, like 7th and 8th grade. And I wasn't very athletic. I was I was a bigger kid. There was incessant bullying at school. And I always felt like I was always more like of an emotional, sensitive kid. And that felt wrong compared to my peers. Like there was a lot of stuff going on for me at that time. So I started therapy, which has been very, very helpful for me to process through a lot of things. I thought for a while I might have some type of anxiety disorder, but I think it's more related to overthinking and ADHD and these things I needed to process. I still have to be very intentional with I can't work too much or hyper-focus on work too much. I have to make time for leisure activities that are not just scrolling on TikTok or playing a game on my phone. Like I've really needed to shift kind of how I structure my life. So I've gotten a lot better with like self-care routines, even if that's just showering more frequently. staying on top of vitamins and supplements that I need to. Those things have been very helpful. In terms of how I spend my time, I need to make sure I make time for things that are like slower activities and not like an instant reward activity. So I'll do a lot of drawing on my iPad, reading fiction, as some of you have seen some videos of me reading fiction that Katie's recommended. Even just watching a television series rather than videos on TikTok. So it's like longer than a minute. You know, an episode might be 30 minutes. I've been paying attention more to my sleep habits and things like that. But at the end of the day, like I still do struggle and I still do have bouts of feeling down or depressed or like I just don't have the will or motivation to do today.
As a man, is that a scary thing? Because of the societal expectations of, you know, you should be strong and be able to put your head down and you should be able to get it done and you shouldn't be showing emotion and vulnerability is weakness.
Not explicitly. I think that that's something that I've kind of worked beyond, but it was a very real feeling for me several years ago. I think now how that shows up is if I have friends that are doing something in their work life that is ambitious, then I'll have internal feelings of, oh, like, should I be doing more? Should I be doing something like that? Or, oh, am I not growing enough professionally? Feeling like, oh, I'm not doing as much as I know should be able to do. And because of that, am I in putting myself and my family in a financially precarious situation? Brings up anxiety about that because, oh, you know, I have friends that are a lot more active in their small businesses than I am. And should I be doing more? So like that type of thing brings up, you know, there's comparison and then there's anxiety about, oh, like, am I not doing enough? Am I going to regret this in a year and be in a bad way somehow? So I think it shows up like that.
But I do think that it's worth noting the emotional work that you have done has, like, if they were to do the emotional work that you have done, they would not be able to hustle as hard as they're hustling. Like, you have chosen to take that piece of the pie that you would otherwise be produce. And you decided to work on your internal life versus your external life.
Yeah. It has taken its toll on me. It has been incredibly difficult. I mean, prior to this, I was never able to talk about feelings without feeling shame or without feeling like I'm being annoying or too much, or even just not knowing internally how I feel. And it taking a long time for me to figure that out because just being very out of touch with my body and my emotions and having emotional conversations where somebody else is experiencing a negative emotion, or I shouldn't say negative, but like, yeah, I mean, like if someone's like upset with me or offended, or I've made somebody very sad, like those things immediately have traditionally felt very, very overwhelming. Like my chest feels heavy and tight. I start panicking in my brain and I can't think of words to say. I start to feel like I'm shutting down. And those things have gotten a lot better, but it's still a challenge. But it's been so hard. I mean, the hardest type of thing for me in my adult life, truly, was not switching careers, was not learning how to be a teacher when students didn't want to listen, was not learning a brand new industry, was not learning all these physical trades, was not having children or getting married. The hardest thing in my adult life has been becoming reacquainted with my emotions, learning how to express them, learning how to take other people's emotions, like, and not make their burden mine, or not let shame from, like, if I've done something to harm somebody else, not letting that shame keep me from having an emotional conversation with them about it. Like, that's been the hardest work of my life, probably. It has been the hardest work for me.
So you are grinding.
Yeah, you're right. I am grinding, just in a different arena. Yeah, but it has been so hard.
But the patriarchy doesn't value that.
No,
So
it feels like it doesn't count.
Doesn't
it feels like,
count.
Right. It feels like it doesn't count, and it should be producing more. It really does feel that way.
Right. But what you have been able to give to your family because of the work that you have done has been immeasurable.
Thank you for saying that. And for seeing that, because often it feels like in the male culture I swim in that it doesn't count. That I'm still not doing enough in other areas.
I'm not saying that your friends don't do like emotional work. That's not what I'm saying. But I doubt that you have somebody in your circle that has a man in your circle that has been working so intensely emotionally on themselves.
Yeah.
The way that you have over the last 2 years.
Yeah, no, that is true.
And there has to be some level of loneliness to that, I feel like.
Yeah, nobody really gets it.
Right, and you probably don't really have anybody to talk to about it.
No, not like my friends will listen and be supportive, but it's not like there's a depth of mutual understanding.
I think sometimes we grow in certain ways, like, or certain areas in our life where we grow, where it's like we just don't fit the same anymore. We can't, there's not this mutual understanding there because you guys haven't done the same.
Yeah, it's like when you have a kid and you have other friends that haven't had kids yet.
Yeah,
you
it
kind of move
feels
to a
like
different
that.
stage of your life, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yes, or you get married and your friends aren't married yet.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, it's just different. And I'm not like judging saying it's like superior. I'm just saying that it's different and that has to be lonely. It's like deconstructing religion and not having people to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's been simultaneous too.
Yes, that has been simultaneously woven into our mental health journeys. So,
yeah, it's for me, it's been a mental health journey paralleled with deconstruction, paralleled with all the patriarchy conversations we've had, and I've had several instances. I've told you this, and I've told my counselor this. It's like I haven't even recognized the world anymore because I thought the world was one thing, and now I know that it's something different, and it's very destabilizing.
Yeah.
Very destabilizing.
Yeah, this whole pink pill thing, it has literally paralleled as we've both been going through mental health struggles while paralleling also our deconstruction. I mean, everything has been like happening at once. It's been, which I think probably is pretty typical. Like once you start pulling the thread.
Yeah.
The whole blanket or sweater starts to come undone. And it's like, no, there was just this little thread here at the very bottom that I was just trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
And now I'm missing an arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What just happened?
That's what it feels like. It has been so emotionally taxing. Yeah. I mean, even just talking about it and paying attention to how I feel when I'm talking about it. Yeah. It's been so taxing. It's like my emotional muscles have atrophied so much since I was a child, like through adolescence and through my 20s, that it's like it's so taxing because these muscles haven't been used in so long, and it's just exhausting.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing.
It's weird because there's so many different facets, and it feels like it's just very abstract, you know?
Yeah. There is, and you could start at any point in the timeline, and there's stuff there, you know. Like I'm thinking about my own stuff, and just thinking about how. I mean, where do I start? Do I start when I first noticed I had a problem, which was in high school? You know, I mean, I've been on this journey for a really long time.
Yeah, much longer than I have.
But I think that you just weren't cognizant of it.
How so?
Like, I think that, come on, you had funks all the time when we were in high school and when you were in college.
You journaled about it.
Yeah.
You read a journal entry.
Yes.
about me.
I mean, you had some serious ups and downs, and you were bullied, which is trauma, and you had all this stuff. You numbed yourself out.
Yes.
Is what you did.
Yeah, I became very, very disembodied.
Yeah.
Where just I was all cognitive, and feeling it all was very much the enemy. Because it was so painful. No coping strategies. The only accepted emotion was anger. And so everything else just got shoved down for years.
Yeah.
So where are you going to start?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started a long time ago. I mean, it started in high school. I started noticing that I was having like issues. I remember taking a test in a waiting room of a doctor's office. Like, I think my mom was at a doctor's appointment or something, and it was like a Cosmopolitan magazine or something. Mm-hmm. And it was about depression. And I took the test, and it said, "You're like moderately to severely depressed." And I was like, "Mom, I'm moderately or severely depressed." And she was like, I don't think so. I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that I'm not."
That story is so sad to me.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I got married really young. You know, my first marriage really young. I was 19 years old, and it wasn't a good situation. It's not something I talk too much about on here because I'm still actively in a co-parenting relationship, and we want to keep that, you know, as smooth as possible. But I definitely was called my fair share of crazy, and that I had lost my mind and I needed help. And he really did convince me I was crazy. Like at one point I was looking at, you know, facilities to be admitted to because I was so depressed and felt so crazy. It's still really triggering for me today. If I hear anybody, man or woman, call another woman like crazy, I instantly am like, instantly.
You see red?
Yes. Like, don't say that to somebody. That led to suicidal ideation. That how I was treated in that relationship. That was the first time that I started having suicidal ideation, and that was really scary. I went on my first antidepressant. I think it helped save my life, but I also gained 70 pounds in like a year, which was traumatizing. And I never have gotten that fully off. You know, how many decades later still have not gotten that fully off? I mean, I never will. It's not something that I'm even actively working towards. That's a long lost dream, I guess. So yeah, you know, when I was really young, like I was 19, got married, and that for about like 10 years, I was treated just for depression that eventually came treatment resistant depression because the medicine really wasn't working. And then I had like extreme anxiety, which then led way to extreme fatigue and like chronic disassociation, not like the clinical definition of the term, like a clinical like diagnosis, but like disassociation as in like I felt like I was living somebody else's life. Like I was just going through the motions and I was just living somebody else's life. And it was like I was seeing myself from a bird's eye view. I was so disembodied. So just, yeah. And it led to extreme fatigue. Eventually, I got on TikTok in 2020 and started running across a bunch of stuff about ADHD, like a lot of people did. And I was like, whoa, hold up. I might have ADHD. So I went to a psychiatrist for the first time because before that, my PCP was just managing everything. Went to a psychiatrist for the first time and asked her if she thought that might be what it was. And she initially said no. I eventually got her to assess me. And then it came back, yes, I did have combined type ADHD, and I became medicated, which was completely life-changing in a similar way that you were saying. My anxiety was gone overnight. I was to the point, I couldn't walk into a restaurant first. Like you had to walk in first before me.
Yeah.
I could not make phone calls. The anxiety of going out in public and possibly seeing somebody I know was too much to where I didn't even want to leave the house. That's how bad my anxiety had gotten. And all through this, weaved through this, I'm seeing so many different counselors. I've seen a total of 6 counselors over this period of time in my life, up to this point. Currently, up to this point, 6 counselors. Currently, up to this point, I've tried 11 different medications that did not work. I am so sensitive to side effects. Like, if there's a potential for a sexual side effect, guess what? I'm going to have it. If there's a potential for weight gain, it's going to happen. And that's what I've learned about myself. If there's potential for flat affect, sign me up, because my body says that's what we like. That's what we're going to do with this medicine. Yeah. You know what? You're not going to have suicidal ideation anymore, but you're also not going to care about anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to care about any of it. So good luck getting anything done, because nothing's going to matter. And then, and just the ups and downs of that. But the ADHD medication, completely life-changing. It did not completely take away the depression, though. I continued to struggle with that. And I ended up having several bouts of, I would call them breakdowns, which now in retrospect, I see them as burnout symptoms. Like, you can get burnout, ADHD burnout, for example. You can also get autistic burnout, which my autism diagnosis came much later. It came in 2025. I just got diagnosed with autism. With ADHD brains and autistic brains, you can experience something that's called burnout, and it's like a legit term, because ADHD brains have to work harder to plan, organize, prioritize, and like inhibit impulses. It's constantly forcing this cognitive exhaustion. And then you add the emotional dysregulation that often ADHD people face, and chronic underachievement stress, the ADHD tax of things, failing to meet external or self-imposed expectations. But anyways, during like burnout, whether it's ADHD burnout or autistic burnout, people struggle a lot with things that they have mastered before, like even like basic activities of daily living, dishes, paying bills, self-care, showering, eating, anything, any social interaction. Tasks that were normally manageable are suddenly impossible. Now, ADHD burnout is different from autistic burnout, so I do want to say that it is different, but I'm just like doing a general overview of the fact that I believe that I had a combined type of burnout in 2017 that lasted for about a year. Burnout can last a long time. And then I experienced it again. Was it 2023?
It was like end of 23. Yeah, it was like November 23 where it came to a head.
To like the beginning of 2025, probably.
Yeah, it was a while.
So the pink pill stuff really kept me going in the sense of like it gave me some kind of purpose to do in the background, but I was crumbling, like not showering for very long periods of time, having very difficult times getting out of bed, very difficult times caring for just the demands of my life. We had to restructure our entire life. We had to sit down and we had to go through all the responsibilities, and we had to like re-divvy everything up. Mm-hmm. Because I was broken. Like I really was. And then the mom guilt that came with that, which is also a tool of the patriarchy, by the way, because society teaches women that good motherhood means endless self-sacrifice and emotional labor and perfection. And when we rest or set boundaries or prioritize ourselves, this guilt kicks in and makes us feel selfish or not enough. And it just keeps us overworked and carrying the emotional weight of everyone. And yeah, you're just not allowed to rest or do anything differently. You have to pull it all. You got to do it all, you know? But I couldn't. I just got to the point where I just couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, I think that was just another time of burnout. And I got into counseling, which was somatic counseling, which was bottom up therapy, which Jay had referenced. And that was a big deal. But like at one point we had to call family in to help support us, like with like helping us make meals, helping us with childcare and stuff like that, because it got so bad for a period of time there.
It was a scary time.
It was a scary time. It did feel like out of control. Like I felt out of control, you know? And I just think that I had been masking for so long too. Masking for so long. I mean, like even when I look at videos of myself from a couple years ago, the way that I talk and my cadence and stuff like that, you can tell that I'm masking. And that's not really... So I really went through this huge unmasking, which made me feel even more isolated from people. And then you do emotional work like through therapy and stuff, which makes you feel isolated from people. And then you already feel isolated from people because you're neurodivergent. And it was a very isolating time too, as well, I felt like, and not a lot of people I could talk to or a lot of people that could understand. And then eventually, for my depression, we discovered ketamine. And that was in May of 2025. That was a couple months after I got diagnosed with autism. That was life-changing. That was another thing that was really life-changing. And I've been doing ketamine now every 4 to 6 weeks, depending. And it's been like, it completely re-regulates me, completely gives me like this breath of fresh air, this momentum for motivation. And yeah, it's really hard to describe. I don't even know how it works, really. It just works.
From being the person who witnesses it, it's kind of like magic or like something miraculous, because it's like you wave a wand, aka you do your treatment, and then for like a month you're like reset. Like in your nervous system is like reset.
Yeah. And it's almost instant.
Yeah, it's
like
wild.
It takes a day usually for me, the next day, and I'm feeling so much better. I do think some of the best things I did during my whole journey was I found a neurodivergent counselor. That was huge because there was so much I didn't have to explain to her. She just got, so like my ADHD or autistic symptoms, instead of being pathologized as something that they were not, she just gets it as a baseline. We don't even have to really, I don't got to go through the rigmarole of explaining it.
Yeah,
she
that's
just
exhausting.
Gets it. So I found that. I found a neurodivergent psych. So both of these are women, and that was so helpful. I did gene site testing, which if you fail 2 classes of medications, a lot of times your insurance will cover gene site testing to show what medications work best with your genes, metabolize best, or what medications you're going to have more likely side effects from, which is what I really was interested in because I was having so many side effects from the medications I was trying.
And weren't all the medications you were trying in your yellow or red category?
Yes. So it's green, yellow, red. And so like, yes, all the medications I was trying up to that point were yellow and red. And now I'm on 2 green medications and they're working really well for me.
Yeah.
But then you got the ketamine too. So that is an added thing. So I did that. And yeah, I just found whatever inspiration I could find to hang on. You know, there was a lot of lyrical inspiration from Noah Kahn. You know, call your mom's song. Don't let this darkness fool you. All lights turned off can be turned on. Held on to that lyric.
Yeah.
Held on to it for a really long time. Oh dear, don't be discouraged. I've been exactly where you are. It was like Noah Kahn has been my top artist on Spotify for like several years in a row because I've been going through something. Okay. Whatever's wrong with him is wrong with me. That is, yeah. Anyways, that is really, really short kind of synopsis of a very, very long journey. But all that to say that if you're listening and life feels heavy, I want you to hear this. You matter. You are not a problem. The world or the system wasn't built to make you feel safe, seen, or supported. There are good things here for you, and there are people who want to help you carry the weight. Hold on. Keep showing up. Your life has value. Your presence makes a difference. You are not alone. Please don't leave. If you're struggling with your mental health, feeling hopeless, or having thoughts of suicide, you are not alone. Please reach out for help. In the U.S., you can call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, to speak with a trained counselor anytime. If you're outside the U.S., you can find local hotlines at www.findahelpline.com. Asking for help is a sign of strength, and you deserve support and care. For those of you interested in finding a neurodivergent therapist, link is in the show notes. There is a website you can go to search for neurodivergent therapists.
I hope for those of you listening, something was intriguing or sparked a curiosity, or you felt affirmed or challenged. Stay educated. Take the pink pill. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.